Today HTC announced the One A9, and that's very interesting because this is not mid-class Desire, it's not that expensive like an M series one, so it's a little bit in between. I don't have any prices already, just heard something of maybe between 500 and 600 euros. We have to see, so meaning just a little bit below the M series, so is the equipment, but we come to that a bit later. I want to show you first of all that aluminum unibody because it's new, because it's not curved anymore, it's just flat. And if you watch closer, you will see that here on the edges looks like polished, and on the back side it's totally matte with that little metallic effect over here and these curved edges. So for HTC, it's a totally new haptics. You might say, oh, it's reminding me of an iPhone. Yes, that's true. But on the other hand, you have to remind that Apple did some copies of HTC. So it's a mixture of both. Let's call it like that. And what I really find surprising is the 5-inch display, because nowadays we'll find very huge and very tiny, but not very much in between. And this is a good compromise because 5-inch, it's all, I find it totally enough for my opinion personally. And you have full HD, it's AMOLED, diamond matrix. Nevertheless, it shall be very bright in sunlight because there's a burst mode. So if it is detecting sunlight, it's getting even more. I don't have any nits or candela for you at the moment, so we have to measure that if the final product has arrived. I will do that, of course, but at the moment I would just say it seems to be okay. Yeah, AMOLED Full HD, but nevertheless, you have the chance to use it with just one hand, as you can see here. And that's the advantage of just 71 millimeters on the width. So it's not a big problem, at least, to reach the corners here. And that's something you won't find on our smartphones nowadays, I'd say. So for me, a good compromise. Coming to the specifications, yeah, let's start with the camera. 13 megapixels, optical image stabilizer. And it's a new one because you now can compensate double the effect of the shakes of your hand, or in numbers, it's now 1.4 instead of 0.7 degrees. You can compensate with that. No 4K videos, just Full HD, but who cares? And that dual tone flash you will have recognized already. On the front side, camera 4.1 megapixels, but the big ones. HTC is calling that ultra pixels. Remind that the very big photo sensors gathering more light, so you do not need, at least HTC is telling so, a front flash for selfies. That might be true because front flash, if it's just white, you have that zombie effect on all your faces. So if this is working great, this would be the better solution. We will test that, of course. And if you are in multimedia, you might have recognized already, you do not have these stereo speakers that's typical for the One M series here. Just mono over there. And by the way, coming out the headphone jack, it's high resolution audio. For the pros of you, 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, meaning you have almost studio, almost lossless quality, and even upscaling from an MP3 file. You might have heard that already from Samsung. I've tried that out, really working great. I hope this is the same quality here. So multimedia is top. On the other hand, it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 617. Brand new, octa-core 64-bit, but it's no 810, meaning will be, I guess, in the benchmarks, kind of upper middle class. We have to see that. Meaning 4 cores with 1.5 and the other 4 cores with 1.2 gigahertz. 2 GB internal memory, so we have to wait for that. The same goes for the battery. Fixed, of course, built in. You can't remove that by yourself. And it's just 2150 milliamps. That's not too much, even for 5-inch only. And even if it's AMOLED, so we have to, yeah. And it's a new processor. I do not know this one. I haven't had that in any smartphone yet. So we have to wait for that. It might be careful with that. Wait for the test, I would say. And then, of course, you have Android 6.0 as operating system. Marshmallow, the newest version, so in some markets maybe even coming before the Nexus phones. And that's meaning tons of new features. I will show you in a separate video if I have more time. This is about the One A9, but just let me show two things. First of all, let's go in the settings, apps, and for example, Chrome. You now have permissions here. Okay, these are now off, but typically, I guess in Chrome, you will have locations on. And you see here, you can now give or take all the permissions of every single app you want to every time. And the other thing is concerning the internal memory and the SD card here, SIM card, SD card. By the way, you have two versions, but not in all markets. So it depends on your market if you'll find 16 or additionally 32 gigabyte internal memory model. But here on the SD card now, thanks to Android 6.0, you can combine the internal memory and the memory space here of the SD card to one. If you remove it very often, I wouldn't do, because you can remove it then just like you know that. So, but in most cases, or most people I know, insert an SD card and that's it for 1 year or 2 years or whatever. And then it's very comfortable, because you might remember that you can't move all your apps to the SD card, or you do not know, did I already, or where's my data here or there? In future, it's just one big pot, thanks to Android 6.0. Just these two examples for that. Of course, you have 4G 300 megabit, dual cell HSPA, Wi-Fi AC, NFC, Bluetooth, everything. That's totally no wishes last. And the thing I want to show last is this one here, because you might think this is like on the Samsung a mechanical home button, but it's not. Home you can use if you want to, but you have this one, so you don't need it. But nevertheless, it's a fingerprint sensor, of course, meaning you can unlock your device. And if you've seen this is almost immediately. So this is very rapidly, and especially if you look at that, I'm laying my finger in an extreme angle. Nevertheless, it's realizing my finger, it's unlocking the device. So very precise, very rapid. And in case Android Google Pay is coming to your country, you might even be able to pay with your phone NFC fingerprint sensor in case it's available in your country one day. They start in the US now, but Google will, I guess, I'm pretty sure of that, expand in various markets with that, so let's wait for that. And that's, I hope, enough for a first quick impression of the HTC One A9. Thanks for watching, take care and bye.